Jai Shri Radhe. Day 40 of the reading of the 252 stories of the Vaishnav disciples of Sri Gosaiji. Continuing from yesterday with the story of the father and son, the two Kayesta. The two Kayas prepared everything for their posts and left to go and do their duties. Sab Vaishnav Unko Jai Shri Krishna. The son said to the father, "Whatever we have been gifted with is all by the grace of Sri Gosaiji. He even thought of us as his disciples and had us freed from jail. We should therefore first go to Gokul to pay our respects. Only then should we travel further." They took their leave of Birbal and travelled to Gokul to have the sight of Sri Gosaiji. They came into his presence and bowed low to him. Then they felt great bliss. Sri Gosaiji inquired of them how they were. They answered with tremulous voices, "Oh Maharaj, you thought of us as your disciples, so of course we are very well. We have been freed through your auspices. The Patshah's court has given us that district to look after." They thus spoke humbly about everything to Sri Gosaiji, who was very happy with them. The father then also said, "It is a further great blessing to me that my son's intelligence is such. Otherwise who knows where I would be. He is very patient and tolerant." Thus he praised his son to Sri Gosaiji, who, having heard all their news and now seeing their very pure attitude to all that had come to pass, was very content. The father and son stayed 2 more days there, and then, taking permission, went off to the district assigned to them to earn. They arrived there and set up their office. They collected a lot of wealth and sent it to the Patshah through King Toraramal. They also managed to send many donations to Sri Gosaiji. They paid off all that they had owed for the loan. They also rewarded that priest who had helped them. Every year they continued to fill the Patshah's coffers. The king Toramal made the Patshah aware of this, and he was also pleased with them. They yearly sent large amounts to Sri Gosaiji as well. Thus concludes Varta 19, the story of the father and son Kayestas, who were so accomplished that Sri Gosaiji admired their attitude. They were the recipients of his great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. There's no end to their story. Varta 20, the story of 2 Patel brothers from Gujarat. These 2 brothers are devotees of a sattvic disposition. In the eternal Leela, the elder brother is Tarangani and the younger one Mugdha. Tarangani is from Sri Yamunaji's group, and Mugdha is a Sakhi of Prema Manjari, who is a Sakhi of Radha Sahachari. Both of them manifest from Prema Manjari and thus are forms of her divine loving sentiment, or bhav. The 2 brothers were born into a Kunabi Patel family in Gujarat. Their parents died when they were just children. They went to live with their uncle. He was a Vaishnava. When Sri Gosaiji visited Kambaich, that uncle had the 2 brothers initiated by him. They reached the age of 20 and 22, and then the uncle also passed away. The 2 boys left home to visit Vraja. Part 1. They left Gujarat together to go and have the holy sight of Srinathji, but joined a group of people to travel to Natadwara, or Jatipura. It took them several days. They all went to have the sight of Sri Gosaiji. After settling Srinathji to his afternoon rest, Sri Gosaiji came down and sat in his baitak. All the folk in the group came to see Sri Gosaiji, but these 2 brothers were at the forefront. They bowed down to him and supplicated, "Oh Maharaj, we would like to stay in Braj for a few days. Please can you give us some seva we can do for Srinathji whilst we are here? Please will you also let us partake of the Mahaprasad? Please also give us some of your worn clothes so that we might also wear them." Of those 2 brothers, the younger was straightforward and the elder was a little cleverer. The little brother didn't have much knowledge. Sri Gosaiji gave him the seva of caring for the cows by sweeping the cowsheds. He also told him how to clean the grass for the cows to eat. To the other elder and intelligent brother he gave the seva of getting Vaishnavas bathed in the water room of the temple. The 2 brothers felt great bliss to thus serve Sri Gosaiji. The brother who worked in the water room would finish his seva and then receive prasad, and then every 5 or 7 days he would go to see his younger brother. That brother who was serving the cows worked so hard and served so well. He would sweep the cowsheds twice daily so that not a single pebble remained underfoot. He always thought to himself, "Srinathji comes here. His lotus feet are very tender. If I leave any stone here, I will be guilty of an offence." This is how he swept. He would present the grass and hay to the cows only after sifting and cleaning it so it had no pebbles in it nor any insects. Even in the rainy season he kept the cowshed spotless and dry. The cows were very content. He was even more contented in his seva to the cow. He was ever more contented in his seva to the cows. One cook from the temple would always keep him a plate of prasad. If he finished work late, he would go to have the sight of Sri Gosaiji first and then honour that prasad. Sometimes it was evening before he got to eat. So many days passed like this. Then one day the cook came to Sri Gosaiji and said, "Today that Patel's plate of prasad is still left here. He does not come on time. Could you please have a word with him? Tell him to come on time and take his plate of prasad." The next day when Patel came to have Sri Gosaiji's sight, he said to him, "Oh Patelji, would you please start coming a little earlier to fetch your plate of prasad?" Bowing down to Sri Gosaiji, Patelji said, "Very well, O Maharaj." Then he went back to the cowshed and began to do his seva. He was so involved in his service to the cows. This innocence of his was very pleasing to Srinathji. He was so absorbed in what he was doing that he forgot even to eat. Srinathji began to appear to him from time to time. The Lord would remind him to go and have his prasad, but he still made sure he finished his seva before going. In this way he was very, very attached to serving Srinathji's cows. One day Srinathji gave him a sweet ball, prasad, from the night-time offerings that were kept next to Srinathji's bed at night. He ate the laddu and went on with his service. He did not go to collect his prasad. The cook again complained to Sri Gosaiji that he had not come to pick up his plate. That evening Sri Gosaiji called him to his side and said, "Oh Patelji, why have you not been to fetch your plate of prasad today?" Patel replied, "Oh Maharaj, Srinathji gave me a laddu. I ate some of it and put some aside, so I was not at all hungry. What would I have done with that plate of prasad?" Hearing this and realizing that Srinathji had greatly blessed him, Sri Gosaiji was very pleased with him. He asked him if he had any of the laddu left. Patel replied, "Yes, half of it is left and I have it with me." He opened his bundle and gave that half laddu to Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji showed the half laddu to Srinathji's priest Ramdas. When Ramdas saw it, he was amazed because it was one of the laddus that had been offered to Srinathji for his nighttime consumption. From that day onwards, Ramdas himself made sure that his plate of prasad was properly covered and kept, and that he himself did not show up to collect it before the evening arti service. Then it could be given to his brother to deliver to him. In this way he could always keep up his mind wrapped up in his seva to the cows, Bhav Prakash. This story teaches us that Srinathji is very happy with those who serve his cows. Sab Vaishnav ko Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe. We continue tomorrow with part 2 of the story of the two Kunabi Patel brothers. Jai Shri Radhe.